Welcome to Empowering Women with Celeste. I am Celeste, and today I want to talk about this time that we live in right now. We are living in the time of information, which is great because we have access to information that we didn't have 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Now everyone can write, everyone can read. We have we have a computer basically by our side all the time that can tell us anything we need to know. There is this huge world of online courses and people, business owners and coaches and guides and so on. They're all giving away a lot of stuff for free, so you don't even have to pay anything to learn a lot. So you can basically get any information anywhere, which is great. This is great because we can, yeah, I don't exactly know what word to use. We can kind of step up our life, kind of. We can get the life we want. Uh, there is no longer like any secrets, and again, like we can get in contact with any person on earth. We can we can get any information we want, which is what I spent the last or the first many years of my, well, both my life but also my business life career. And I still do. I love reading books. I listen to podcasts. I do online courses and so on and so on. So I get a lot of information all the time. And right now, maybe you're still there where you kind of feel like you need more information. But I'm at a place now where I know that I have the information I need. I just have to use it. And the thing about this particular part is that you can also get overwhelmed, easily get overwhelmed with all the information that is. And I kind of feel like that too right now. Like I already know everything and I keep taking in things. And like I said in the beginning, it's great. Like if you want to learn a sport or if you want to learn to draw or paint or something like that, it's great because you learn the techniques, you learn about colors, you learn new things, you learn how to do movements and so on. So there's a lot of things in the beginning that you need to know. So there's a lot of information coming in, but at some point your mind is going to be overworked or overwhelmed with information. And that's maybe also something I can't know, but something that the world will experience, if not already. Like, there's too much information. And I know that for myself, I listen to a lot of different people. Like I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I do a lot of courses, and they all say, well, a lot of it is the same, but they also say many different things. And then if someone say this is the truth, like this is what's right, this is what you need to do, and someone else say another thing, like what do you believe in? What should you believe? And also, like, just there's too much coming in. So you can actually study too much, yes. So the point is, or my message is, that we're overflowing with information. And if you just learn to listen and go within, you will still have that information. Like, there's still practical things that you need to learn. Like when I started this online business thing, there was a lot of things that I had to learn about platforms, about sending emails, about commercial and so on. ads and how to uh, create a website and so on, because I did all of those things myself and still do to this day at least. So there's a lot of practical things that you should know and you should learn, like if you're starting to become a doctor or whatever it is, photographer or something, you have to go through some practical information, which is this, like I said in the beginning, that is the basic information you need. But when you're done with that, it's time for you to learn to listen. It's time for you to learn to go inside, because, like I said, there are millions of people out there telling you millions of different things. And like I said, then how do you know what's right? And the only way you know is by going inside to find out what's right for you. Because just because something worked for someone else or is right for someone else, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you necessarily. Even if they guarantee it, because I see a lot of people who say, this, I did this and it works for everyone, it will work for you. And I'm like, they can't guarantee that, because I'm not them. And we have different life paths, we have different lessons we need to learn. So just because someone else say that it is the right thing to do, or that this thing works, not that it's wrong or not that it's not true, but it might not be what you need. And that's why it's so important for you to learn to feel, to listen, because you have a soul, you have an extremely intelligent mind that can figure out things. And if you just learn to use that and tap into that, you will find the answers to any question you have, whether it's a practical or kind of logical one, or if it's something energetic, something emotional, something a bit more energy, spiritual wise. So you both have your soul and you have your logical brain. And when you learn to combine those two, they will be your most powerful tool. They can be. And I think the reason why a lot of us have not learned, or like, I think 99.9% of the planet haven't learned to do this, is because, at least where I come from, and I know a lot of you also, is there's only a focus on how smart you are, what you can do. Like when you grow up, when you're going to school, all you learn is information. Again, like you learn about the earth, how it works, it's spinning around in the universe. Maybe you learn about food, like how they work, what do they do for you, what's good foods to eat, what's not good foods to eat. You learn to read, you learn to write, you learn to do math and put things together and do equations and so on. We learn to think and use our mind constantly. But you also have to learn to use your body or your soul or your heart, whatever you want to call it, because there's no balance in only using your logical mind. You need to have a balance between listening to yourself and using your logical mind. And I would say it's probably the best to listen first to your soul, your heart. What does it tell you? And then listen to your mind, and or ask your mind, like, how can this work out? For example, if you're in a job and you don't know whether to stay there or to move on, to find a new job, I would say, well, in most cases, if you have the doubt, it's because you shouldn't be there. Like it's because it's time to move on. But there's obviously also things that you can work on, and the same goes for relationships. Like, should you stay in this relationship? or should you go? Listen. And this is because we are learned to be distracted all the time, it's hard for a lot of us, including myself at sometimes. It's hard to just sit down, be quiet, do nothing, and listen. Listen to your body, listen to your heart, like what's going on. And it might take some time because your mind will start to take over and say, and you want to get out of it because it's uncomfortable. And also because feelings will come up that are not very comfortable, which is why we don't like to sit down and just be with ourselves and close our eyes and meditate, because things are coming up that we don't want to look at, that are comfortable to feel, and we don't really want to see them because they are hurtful or shameful, or it's disappointment, or all of these things, whatever it is you don't want to feel. So there's all of that you kind of need to go through. And of course, this is just a very short explanation, just to tell you that if you want to start to practice living from your soul, living from your heart, following your heart and your intuition, that it might not be easy at the beginning, especially because you will have all of this shit basically coming up that you haven't worked with yet, and you kind of have to go through that before you can start to really have a clear a connection to your heart and to your soul. So don't give up if it's hard in the beginning. I know, but so I want to share an example with you, because you have definitely, even if you don't remember, at some point you have had this feeling, or yeah, just this knowing, like a gut feeling, sixth sense, that something was right, that you just had to do this. Or the other way, that it was like you had a bad feeling about something, you didn't know what or why. You just felt bad about it and you didn't want to do it, whatever it is. And then later you found out why. Like a very down to earth example that I've heard several times is, if you're driving and suddenly get a feeling of like driving another way to work or home from work than you usually do. And then later when you come home, you find out that there was a car crash on the road where you usually would drive. So there's a lot of these examples of things where you just know you had this thought that you should have done this thing, and then you didn't, and then later it kind of backfired, like you find out we found out why, because it had a consequence at the end. This is your intuition, I call it. This is your soul speaking to you, telling you what to do, like what is right, what is wrong, what you should do. And like I said, this is something that you cannot logically think your way to. This is something that you just know. This is the knowing. Like your intuition is the knowing that you cannot explain. And this is going to be very helpful to you in ways that you cannot, I want to say you cannot imagine, because intuition is not figure outable. You cannot figure out that by going to this concert you're going to meet your soulmate. Your logic cannot tell you that. But if in your intuition is saying go to this concert, even if it's someone that you maybe even don't even like, but your intuition is saying go to this concert or go to this event, do this thing, and then you find your best friend or your soulmate or someone you haven't talked to in a million years who works at a place that has the perfect job for you. These coincidences you cannot You cannot think your way to. And this is where we use intuition. This is why I want you to learn to listen to your intuition and learn to connect with that and learn to trust it, because sometimes, many times, we have to do things that we, like again I said, we don't know why, or we have to do things we don't want to, things that are uncomfortable. So we have to learn to also trust this, because it might say break up with your boyfriend if you had one, and you don't know why. You're like, why? It's, and you don't get it, but maybe you learn that he was cheating on you, or maybe he would do it later, or whatever. You don't know. You just have to trust it. So it's the knowing about something, trusting it, and following it. And the reason why I do it, and I would love for you to do the same, is because most of us live a life that we have learned we should live. Like we've been programmed to think that this is the good life. Having the husband, having the 3 kids, the car, the big house, the well-paid job, and so on. That is the life. That is success or happiness or whatever. We've learned that a certain situation, that this certain result is the thing. This is what we want. To be happy, you need this. You need this car. To be happy, you need to make this amount of money. To be happy, you need to have this job. And that is not true. Especially if you're here listening to me, because like attracts like, and I am not normal in any way. That is, I don't have any of those things, and they are not, for me right now at least, it's not something that I want. And I would really like for you to get the life that you want, not the life that you think you want or you have been told is good. If you want to go to a third world country and make houses for homeless people, homeless families, that's what you should do. If you want to become a millionaire and never work a day in your life just doing investments, then that's what you should do. If you want to move out in a forest far away from people and just be with yourself and nature, that's what you should do. I am not a believer in this is the way that it's meant to be, like this is the only right thing to do. Because like I said before, we all have different paths, we all have different journeys, we all have different lessons, we are all different, we all want different things. So it's really important to figure out what it is you want and then follow that. Like really listen to your heart, and don't worry about what everyone else will think. Don't worry about how is it possible, is it possible. Just think, not think, tune into your heart and find out what it is that you really want. And the way to do that, the exercise, is to ask yourself again and again and again, like, what is it that I really want? What is it I really want? Write it down. Write it down every day, and then see what comes up again, like what returns the most. That is kind of a guideline for you to see, like, this is what I want. So ask yourself this question again and again and again. And I've been doing this since I started this online business thing, I've been doing this exercise. I do it regularly. Ask myself, what is it that I want? Because even though I did it 5 years ago, I still have to do it, because those wants, desires, wishes might change. They might change in a year or 6 months or next month. So my wishes and wants are very different from 2 years ago, where it was more material, where now it's more spiritual. It's more about happiness, having fun, enjoying life, being happy. Where before it was like, and I still have that, like earning a certain amount of money, like this is what I want to earn, and I want to be able to travel and all of these things. But it's more important about how I feel on the inside, because whether I get those things or not, it makes more sense to me that I have this feeling that I feel happy, because if I put my happiness on a thing, on something that I want to happen, well then I will never be happy until I get that thing. So I know you know what I mean. So I'm not gonna try to explain it more. It's about the feeling, and I believe that is for all of us. We are searching for happiness. We are searching for love, maybe even belonging. We need connection. We need connection to people, or at least nature or animals. We connect to different things. I love all of them, but maybe you only connect with animals. Like that's just, this is where you're really happy, and this is what you want to do. You want to be a dog trainer or a horse trainer or a cat behaviorist or something like that. Again, this is all about listening to your heart, finding out what it is that you want to do. Ask yourself the question again and again and again, what is it that I want to do? And maybe you'll, after a few days, it's like you kind of lose the energy, but keep doing it. And like me, do it at least every month, because those desires and wishes and dreams might change. And that's not a bad thing, but again, like I said before, sometimes we tend to cling on a belief or something that we've been told, like this is the way it should be, this is how you should feel, this is what you should do with your life, even from family and friends and community. But if that's not you, and I think it's not, again, you're here listening to me, so I guess it's not. You really have to take the time, if you can, preferably go to a place where you can be alone, like a summer house, a beach house, maybe even a hotel. Lock yourself in a room for as long as you possibly can, days, hours at least, and really go inward, really do some soul searching, like what is it that I really want? What will make me happy? How can I make myself more happy? How can I give myself the love that I need? How can I give myself the support I need, that I wish, that I desire, if that's what it is? Because sometimes, well, many times, most of the times, actually, I think that when we are searching for a partner, it's because we don't love ourselves. So we're looking for love somewhere else. And that's what we do with a partner. But that will lead to a lot of attachment and drama and so on. I'm not going to go more into that because you probably already know. And if not, there are a lot of videos on that everywhere. But give yourself what it is you need. Start working on this thing that you really want, and stop living your life after someone else's destination. I like to look at life as like a GPS, like you're setting your GPS somewhere, and if you're listening to everyone else, they are the ones who set it. So that's the way you're gonna go. But now you have to put in your own address. You have to figure out, where is it that I want to go? You can always change the destination. But when you start walking that road, when you start driving that way, you'll figure out, oh well, this wasn't really where I wanted to go, and then you just set the GPS again, and then you go there. And the thing with intuition is that it only takes you one step at a time. And that's why I told you before that it won't make sense most of the time. Like going to this event or calling someone, this person, go somewhere. Your intuition doesn't give explanations. It just tells you this is the next turn. This is the next stop. Like this is where you have to go. And then when you get there, you will get the next step. But that is a whole nother video I'm gonna, or podcast I'm gonna do about that. So just to wrap it up, I really would love for you to start living from your heart, because if you're living on autopilot, that which many coaches call it, you're living like you're just living. You're not feeling happy, you're not feeling joyful, you're not really experiencing life. You just exist. You're not really truly living. You're not living a fulfilling life that is giving you the happiness that you want, the explanations you want, all of those things that you're looking for, that you dream about. So start to listen to your heart. Sit down, listen. Don't be disturbed. Take the time to figure out what you want. Write down what I really want is, and then you answer, and you do that every day. What do you really want? I really want this. I wish that this was my life. I dream about doing this and this and this. Answer the questions. Do a little bit of reflecting, because it will spark an energy. At least that's what happened to me. It kind of kick-started or sparked like this light inside of me, this energy that I've only had like in those very teeny tiny moments, like where you just really happy. But now it's more, it's maybe even every day. So that is my hope for you, that you will take this to heart and really start to live from your heart and not live from what everyone else is saying and what you think you should do or what you have learned you should do. Live the way you want to. I hope you like this podcast. I want to say video, but it's not a video. I hope you like this speech. If you have any questions, anything, give me a comment. If you liked it, give it a like. And I'll see you next time. Bye.